Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King. I got this idea some time ago. Sorry that it took me this long, but here it is. Part 1 of What If Naruto Was Amazo from the Justice League series. You know, the yellow automaton that is self-replicating, self-learning, that has the ability to identify the genomes and every single genetical trait in the metahuman's power to adapt them. Let us take that and put it in the Naruto universe. Let us give it to Naruto specifically and see how a world like that turns out. If you enjoy this and you want to see part 2, just go ahead and comment down below and tell me and I'll post it as soon as possible. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead, check them out and become a part of the Anime King family. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this? Let us begin now, guys. Our story begins within the woods of Konoha. It was currently night time. As a 12-year-old boy, Mito Uzumaki told himself that he was no coward. A few children within the academy was talking about this shack in the woods, talking about there was amazing stuff out there. Him always being the one to be curious, Naruto told himself that he was no coward, as others were too afraid to venture this far. Given the fact that the graduation test was coming up soon, he was looking for anything to help him. He's already taken the test twice before trying to graduate early, but he's failed due to the clone jutsu. He ventured towards a spot that they spoke about, beyond the two tall trees, with a tiny tree behind them. And Naruto saw it up ahead, a old rundown shack. He arrived. He noticed that there was a mark on top of the shack, a swirling pattern, but he paid that no mind. When he stepped inside, there was nothing. He was disappointed as he started to realize that he was in the dark forest late in the night. As a sound started to get to him, he moved around in the shack and accidentally cut his finger on one of the exposed nails, as the place was really run down. Damn it, he said, his blood dripping on the ground. He stepped forward, only to slip. As he fell, his bloody palm hitting the ground once again. This time though, something abnormal happened. It seemed to stir for a moment, as a bright light erupted beneath him. He closed his eyes as he felt or heard nothing. When he reopened his eyes, he found himself in a strange place. The place was pitch dark. This was not the cabin, because the cabin had exposed bricks at the top which allowed the moonlight to enter, but this place was so dark. He got to his feet, moving around, touching the walls. Where the hell am I, he said, his hand still bleeding, as he walked deeper and deeper and deeper. Finally, he arrived towards an open area. The torches on the wall somehow lit up. The flames looked abnormal. Naruto was confused. Where the hell was he? What he did saw though was books, scrolls, all sorts of things. Slowly making his way, he stood there confused as he noticed a book on the table. It seemed like a little journal. Having been a very crafty individual that tend to known for giving trouble, stealing girls' journals and making fun of them. Naruto knew what a journal looked like. He picked this one up as he flipped to a random page. The name at the top. Mito. Mito, he said to himself. He had no idea who was this Mito. Naruto read what it said. As some of the words were complex, some of them that he didn't understand. He was a 12-year-old child after all. But he did understand a few of them though. Each test has failed. I'm afraid that trying this on a human would prove disaster in results. As much as I hate to abandon this, there is no further movements that would lead to a successful test. I've exhausted all avenues. It seems like this is just something that I cannot get behind. The results will surely end in death for any human to even try to collaborate with this seal. Naruto was confused. He placed the book down. What he did not know was that so-called cabin in the woods belonged to Mito Uzumaki. Once a very beautiful place, over time abandoned and left alone. Mito Uzumaki was a very powerful woman. When it came to Fuinjutsu, after all, she was the first to seal the 9 tails inside of herself and become the first Jinjuriki for the 9 tails. She was a very smart Fuinjutsu user. Many not really taking that spark when it came to her. Just because she was a wife of the first, he really outshined her in many areas. But when it came to Fuinjutsu, she was one of the best. She was one of the greatest. This place that Naruto was teleported to was a special place, away from majority of the, surroundings of Konoha, due to some of the testing being rather destructive. Learning how to forge seals to bind the 9 tails was a lot. Yes, it was a lot. Thus, it was her blood that she used. She vowed it too dangerous for others, so it was her blood. However, the similar traits in her blood was also in his. His last name was Uzumaki. It was the similar traits and enzymes that passed down in their clan. That is why the seal took a long while to activate. While his blood was Uzumaki, it was not 100%, neither was it directly from her line. However, it still allowed him access. It's been a long time since a seal was used. Perhaps this was a 1 in 1,000 chance, a luck or something else. But there was a reason why he was here. Naruto started to go through the things, but majority of them he couldn't understand. They were too complex for him. That is when he noticed something. Naruto was naive, quick to do things, quick to rush. When he found something that spoke about power, he did not hesitate to try it, despite the numerous warnings that she wrote down. The most greatest one being death, but Naruto did not go that far. As the seal explained, yet all he saw was the word power, and he jumped onto it. He took the very special marker that was there. The seals were already written out within the scroll. It just needed to apply. Having already know how to access his chakra, Naruto did what the scroll said. He saw mere what seemed like puppets over to the side, as their bodies seemed burned out and strange. Mito Uzumaki was trying to replicate something dangerous, as she was able to use specialized clones not formed from chakra only. She was able to mimic the process of her husband, wood clones in a way, due to their difference from the normal shadow clone jutsu, giving them aspect of self-sustaining life. It was a very complex process that Naruto did not even look at. The problem was the seal. There was only one copy remaining. Only one. It was tied into a bunch of others. Naruto believed that it was just a normal seal that would make him become powerful. But that was not it in the slightest. Mito had disregarded everything else and put this away because a part of her believed that in the coming future she would be able to find a way to truly break it apart and truly understand everything and truly created what she wanted, but she left this piece behind for that. But she never got back to it, and Naruto applied it to himself, supplying the chakra. However, the moment he did, something went wrong. The seal was different. It left the paper and started burning into his skin. He screamed and howled. He fell to the ground, clutching the areas where the seal burned into his arms, his stomach, his chest. He started to cry on the ground. The pain was unbearable. Within the depths of Naruto's mind, the Nine-Tails, a beast that was sealed inside of him, started to see the boy organs failing, his heart slowing down. The child was dying. The Nine-Tails immediately flared his chakra, unaware about its circumstances due to the seal that bind him, not knowing if its life would be taken as well. It tried, but the seal was powerful. However, everything started to change. Chakra started to flicker. The inside started darken and bright up. The seal started to break down. The boy was dying, his body was failing. Thus the Nine-Tails released so much power, trying to get by it, trying to stop this. On the outside, Naruto burned from the inside out. He screamed to the heavens as he proceeded to black out. The pain was too much. The seal inwoven into his very DNA, rewriting his system, changing him from the inside out. The process went on like that for a good long hour. What Mito Uzumaki failed to accomplish, due to her having tested it and realizing that it was too dangerous, but what she never did was test it on herself, as a Nine-Tailed chakra became a stabilizer. Surprisingly so, she never tested on herself, and due to her lack of communication and her lack of tampering with her own seal, as she always kept the Nine-Tails just locked away, never to speak, never to use its power ever. It was too destructive. After all, what she was doing was trying to create a way to make the Nine-Tails obsolete, to make most weapons obsolete. What she did failed, but in this day and age, it worked. Naruto was unconscious for a good hour or two, it being the dead of the night. Many expect him to be sleeping. No one expect him to go out, be doing this so late in the night. As Naruto lay there, unaware of the changes that was going on inside of him, the seal was gone because it went inside, changing every aspect of him to work how it was designed to work. When Naruto finally woke up, everything was so foggy. His mind was unstable. It was like his body was running on autopilot. His entire mind was in a haze as he made his way, arriving towards a seal. It activated for him. Naruto was back within the shack as he simply walked as morning was coming. He went straight to his apartment on muscle memory alone as he collapsed into his bed. He seemed to pass out almost immediately. A day went by. He slept, having eaten or drinking anything. Another went by. He slept through. On the third day, Aruka Mino arrived, along with the Hokage as well. Naruto missing 2 days was not uncommon, but 3, no one having seen him around the village. Hiruzen and Sarutobi used the emergency key and opened the door. As they stepped inside, searching and calling for him, Hokage-sama, Aruka said, as Naruto was on the bed. They tried to wake him, but he was unresponsive. Immediately he was brought to the hospital. The doctors did every test, but they could not find out what was wrong with him. But one thing they did notice was his chakra seemed to be unstable, fluctuating. Other than that, he was in perfect health. But he wouldn't wake up. He was in a coma. Hiruzen Sir Toby stood there, panic and worry crossing his features as Aruka looked down towards the poor boy. They had no idea what caused this. Hiruzen immediately wondered if this was foul play, if someone did this. He got the best of the best as they went through Naruto's apartment to find out exactly where he had been. They followed the trail. It's been a few days, so it was hard to pinpoint, but he did get the best of the best. And Naruto wasn't exactly hiding his trail or anything. It led them towards the deep forest. Luckily, he moved around here a lot. His scent was still all over the place. It was faint, but the Inusakas could pick it up. They were the experts after all. They traced every single detail which led them to the shack. Upon arriving, this place should have been condemned a long time ago, but it slipped his mind. But there was nothing in there. That is when one of the dogs picked up the faint smell. It was almost untraceable by normal means. Blood. Naruto seemed to have sliced his hand, and his blood had dripping on the floor. The problem was, they could not see the seal without his blood freshly and activated. Thus they had no idea. Another day passed, and Naruto was still unconscious. Until the second day. He started to come out of the coma. The doctors informed the Hokage, who came by to get some answers from Naruto. When Naruto opened his eyes, there was more than, a few people in the room than he expected. However, something was different. The Hokage noticed that immediately. Judging from his eyes alone, the calm exterior, something was strangely different about Naruto. Before he even spoke, Hiruzen could tell that something was different. "Where am I? What's going on?" said Naruto, as he looked at the Hokage. "I was hoping that you can tell me what happened to you. We found you passed out in your bed, and you've been like this for the past week," he said, as he added in the days that Naruto was missing for. Naruto rolled over, the doctors telling him to take it easy. As he sat at the edge of the bed, trying to recall exactly what happened. "I was in the forest," he said. "I passed out." Naruto looked at his hands. Something felt different. Something felt strange. Judging by that reaction, the Hokage could tell. "Tell me, what is it?" he said. I'm not sure." Hiruzen was right. Something was indeed off. Naruto wasn't acting how he normally acted. That big cheery smile, being loud. Yes, he was just waking up from a coma, but it just seemed so different. He spoke to the doctor outside about personality changes. The doctor himself could not really understand because he had no idea what caused the coma. Could it be the simple shift in his chakra which had regulated a few days ago? They did not exactly know. But they did their medical testing and everything seemed to be okay. Hiruzen had some final words with Naruto to ensure that he was okay. The building had been condemned. Everything had been removed there. The place was a hazard for children to be venturing out there, getting hurt. Naruto recalled everything about the shack, but he doesn't remember going inside. As the time passed by, Naruto ventured back to normal life, the academy. However, something was different. Sakura turned "What is it now?" she said, ready to decline Naruto's offer for a date. "You dropped this," he said, as he handed her the paper. Oh, she said, not expecting that, because whenever Naruto said something to her, he always asked her out. But he was different. He returned back to staring through the window. Returning home, Naruto sat, simply gazing at his reflection, having no idea what was wrong with him, or the gap within his memory. The next moment, his head felt fuzzy, like he was about to. He fell, hitting a wall. When Naruto opened his eyes, he found himself in a strange location. It was large. A massive cage lay in front of him. The cage was open. Naruto noticed a paper on the ground that said seal. He looked at it and picked it up. The next moment, he turned. The massive fangs of the Nine Tails peered down upon him, the claws ready to rip into him. However, Naruto blinked as the Nine Tails was attacking his leg, trying to bite and tear at him, but it was useless. Naruto was confused. The Nine Tails was a mere fragment of its former self. It was extremely small. Naruto stooped down. "What are you?" he said. It lashed out and slashed him across the face, causing him to stagger. But this place was not exactly where his real body was. As Naruto felt his cheek, "Why did you do that? Look at me. This is your fault. You puny, worthless brat," he shouted. "What did I ever do to you?" said Naruto. "You were the one that tampered with those seals. It forced my chakra out. So much of my power, reverting me to this small miniature state. I almost died. Maybe I did die, and a small essence of me remained and kept my consciousness. I don't even know. The seal over there. It is open, and yet I'm still here. None of this makes any sense. Wait, I don't understand. Seal, what's going on? You don't even know about your own body, you worthless child." "Can we cut it with the worthless thing?" said Naruto. "What's going on?" "I am the Nine Tails." "The Nine Tails? You're supposed to be dead. A being like me cannot die." "You just said you probably died." "Forget about that. You are what is known as a Jinjulike because I was sealed inside of you. Haven't you ever wondered why the people hate you? Why they look at you and whisper when they do?" Naruto looked at the Nine Tails like the reveal had been shattered in front of his eyes. Humans. "And after you touched that seal, something happened. Not just to me, but to you as well. You can feel it, even I can." "You're right. I feel different. I feel much calmer. I can't explain it. Even now as you're telling me this, I know I should be freaking out, but I'm not," Naruto said. As he looked around, he focused on the Nine Tails, and then it happened. A headache for a split second. As Naruto started to see things, he started to see the genetical mapping of the Nine Tails DNA. Its chakra source, how it was brought together. The next moment, a swirl. 9 curving swirls appear, flashing in Naruto's eyes before his eyes returned back to normal. He dropped down to his knees. What the hell was that? How should I know? I know nothing of this seal. All I know that it took my power to stabilize it. So much of my power. The Nine Tails said, having no idea when he will be fully restored. This was foreign to him. Him still being in here despite the seal being open. That seal alone to be open was something great. None of this made any sense. Naruto still felt that lingering sensation. He looked at his hands. The next moment, his skin started to change. Fur started to appear over it, his features changing. The Ninetales watched with shock as Naruto turned into a strange, hybrid-like state of a human and a tail beast. He shook himself as he returned back to normal. "What the hell was that?" Naruto said, much more composed. You mimic me. Mimic you. How? How did I do that?" "I don't know." "You're the one that tampered with that seal," the Ninetale said, angry, but unable to get revenge because there was nothing much that it could do from in here, while it was stuck here for the time being. As Naruto was freaking out in a much calmer way, trying to understand what the hell just happened, he basically transformed into the Ninetales. And he understood. I've replicated what you are." "What?" the Ninetale said, looking up towards Naruto. "I must return," said Naruto. He blinked, and he was back in his bathroom. He picked himself up and started to make his way. Naruto headed straight towards the forest area. As he proceeded to arrive there, the place had been condemned. The pieces were in the process of being moved away completely. It seems that the Hokage was lacking when it came to emergency movements, but there were a few ninjas out there. Upon stepping out in the open, they immediately noticed him. "You're not supposed to be here," one of them said. But Naruto ignored him and walked towards the pieces and started to move them away. "Hey, didn't you hear what I said?" Cutting his finger, Naruto blood dripped. The next moment, the seal came to life, shocking and confusing them because they did not see it before, not that they could. And he was gone like that. Naruto arrived back to the location, having pictured the seal in his mind completely now. Stepping towards the book that was there, he started to scan through it. As he found the page, the information was laid bare for him to understand. It was Mito Uzumaki. Uzumaki, his own last name. Naruto read everything that she wrote in that book. What exactly she was trying to create? She was trying to create a ninja that was able to replicate all abilities from their enemies. When it would come down to a fight, the ninja would be able to become something superior, something above the Sharingan copy ability. Not just copy physical jutsu, but the entire essence of what a ninja was. She was trying to push Fuinjutsu to the absolute limit. However, the testing was a failure. She did many tests before moving on to human trials, but none of them got that far. She could not. The human body simply would not be able to sustain it. As from what she could see, the person would die within a matter of seconds. So naive, he hadn't read anything of this. He simply took the scroll. He should have died. As Naruto started to understand what happened, now knowing that he was a Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, it was a Nine-Tailed chakra that stabilized it. She was missing that component. If she had the Nine Tails, if she had used it on the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, it would have stabilized the power. But that was the last fragment of that seal. Years of work, years of fine crafting, all now inside of him. Naruto's body shifted as the seals came on the outside. They were not truly there, they were ingrained into his own genetical DNA now. But he could bring them. He could shift particles of himself inside. He was amazed by exactly what happened to him. Could that be what was responsible for his change in personality? It has to be, Naruto thought to himself. He took the other scrolls that were nearby and pat them away. By the time he proceeded to return, Hiruzen was there, along with several others. He could feel them in the trees, Anvus. The Hokage immediately stepped forward as Naruto's eyes locked on him. Naruto could see through. He could see through the man and see his chakra. Naruto started to see it. The next moment, his features shifted just for a moment, replicating the Hokage, confusing many due to the lack of hand signs. What did you just do? Hiruzen said, trying to understand. I remember now, said Naruto. Everything. Hiruzen was confused, as he demanded to know exactly what was going on, and where did he get those scrolls. Time skip. As Hiruzen looked through the scrolls, majority of them were complex and old as well. Naruto also kept the diary. The moment Hiruzen saw the name, he knew that Naruto would want some explanation. As Naruto sat there, simply waiting on him to finish doing what he was doing. Okay, Hiruzen said, explain to me what is going on. That cavern, said Naruto. It belonged to Mito Uzumaki. My blood. It transported me towards a location that she was working in secret. One of the scrolls there, I activated, and it infected me in a way. I presume that is a result of my change in behavior, said Naruto. I don't just sound different. I feel different. I'm changing. Changing how, Hiruzen said. With a simple look, I can see the makeup of your chakra. But not just that, the history of your power as well. The control that you possess. And I've also mimicked all of your traits. Hiruzen paused. What do you mean by that? I suppose the seal is what keeping my mind intact. Expanding my processing knowledge, said Naruto. You've learned thousands of things in your time on this planet, and now I know them all as well. And my body is adapting to use all of them perfectly. That's impossible, Hiruzen said. Naruto raised his hand, deliberately going slow as he went through several hand signs. However, Hiruzen raised and stopped Naruto, seeing exactly what he was about to do. Where is this scroll? He questioned. It has fused within me, said Naruto, becoming a part of my DNA, becoming a part of my chakra. It cannot be removed unless risk destabilizing me completely. As of right now, I can control every aspect of myself. It's unusual, strange. A part of it makes no sense, and yet a part of it makes perfect sense. I've become a living weapon that Mito Uzumaki wanted to create to protect this village. A person that would be able to dominate his opponents with just a single glance. I am not sure of the limitations that I possess or if there are any, but I suppose I will learn them along the way. But the more time passes, the more powerful this becomes. Even now I can feel myself assimilating every single technique that you've ever learned over your years of living. But it isn't just that, said Naruto. Slowly, 9 tails came from Naruto as they hover behind him, forming like chakra, forming like they were particles stitching and twisting together. I can shift the atoms in my body, said Naruto, replicating what I've seen and studied. Hiruzen looked at the tails. Yes, I'm aware that I'm a Jinjuliki. I recently found it out. It seems like what kept me stable was the 9 tails. So we have the 9 tails to thank for that. Naruto said, moving the tails. Having a decent control over them, the more he did, the better they became. They were small, as he focused not to make them erupt through the building, They twisted and shifted back atoms into atoms, as they were no longer there. Hiruzen sat where he was, trying to digest all of this information. Not only what Naruto was saying sounded impossible and would possibly make him one of the most powerful beings to ever walk this planet, but his personality had shifted into something wise, something calm, something that wanted to grow and wanted to adapt. But Hiruzen was concerned. This kind of power, no one was supposed to have this. There's a reason Mito abandoned this. It isn't just because the fact that she failed. However, as more time passed, she started to see how this power could be used and corrupted. But still, that part of her that wanted to create a breakthrough left one scroll behind. And that scroll had changed Naruto for the better. Time skip. As the days passed by, Hiruzen was constantly nagging at him, trying to learn and know everything that was going on, knowing that the reveal of this would be something beyond phenomenal, beyond anything that this nation or world has ever seen before. He was just trying to prepare for all of that. As Naruto expanded, his mind should be gone by now. His mind should be dissolving, but it's not. It's evolving, consuming and updating. His mind processing this information was nothing but truly remarkable as the days passed by. Naruto found himself intrigued by his own abilities, intrigued by his own processing power. It was astonishing, if given a word. He sat within the clearing, fully aware that the Anvus were watching him. He was, understanding the concerns from the Hokage, his change in behavior and these new, astonishing abilities proved to be something, not normal. That was the best way that he can put it. Naruto sat there. He expanded his hands. Between them, the chakra started to form. Blue and red, twisting into a purple ball, almost black. A miniature tail beast bomb. Naruto held it in his hand like child's play. It then split into 3 tiny pieces. As they twirled around each other so fast, it was like one. However, he shot 2 in different areas and 1 up. They all stopped before he retracted them back towards him. It wasn't just the Nine Tails' power, as he realized that he could replicate others into one, using them together. The Hokage's vast knowledge and control over his own abilities were proven to be something truly amazing. However, the Hokage would not let up. Thus, Naruto avoided the more destructive things as he distributed the chakra back, cancelling out the technique. At the academy, people started to notice a shift in his behavior. Others questioned him. Even Sakura started to watch him more, noticing his lack of annoyance. Today was taijutsu practice. Over the past few days, though, Naruto learned a lot. He copied, but he could not use every single jutsu that Hiruzen knew. As Naruto started to understand more and more about himself, Sasuke was the key component. When Naruto looked at Sasuke Uchiha, the fire-based jutsus that Hiruzen had, he now knew how to use them. His body assimilate different elements based on the user's genetical base. Hiruzen Sarutobi learned all the 5 natures, but it didn't matter how much Naruto copied him, it would not work. He had to copy someone that had the genetical makeup of the nature that he wanted. They had to be born with it. He was born in wind. That is why he was able to use wind, as that was what he was going to do as an example in the office. Think of it like a blueprint. He had the blueprint for all the jutsus, but The material was the nature element. As of right now, he had wind, and because of copying Sasuke, he had fire as well. But he needed the others from those that were born with the powerful structure of each of these natures. Hiruzen was also born with fire as well, hailing from the Sarutobi. But Sasuke's genetical strength seemed to be stronger, and due to him copying majority of Hiruzen, understanding of his jutsus, all the blueprints, it seemed not to take into account the fire nature due to all that he's learned over the years. This seemed to be something that was structured this way personally by Mito Uzumaki, as it seemed to take the raw base essence of each user that would have been able to be born with that specific nature to ensure that the replication was perfect. As Naruto was more and more intrigued, but it wasn't just that, it was the physical and combat data as well. Naruto gained the muscle memory, the flexibility. He gained the movement styles. For example, Sasuke Uchiha flowing technique, the interceptor fist style, the rhythm, the precision, all of it was there as well. Naruto was intrigued by all of this. With a single gaze, there was so much at his disposal. As he watched Sasuke, all the children were gathered to show what they've learned due to the graduation coming rather soon. This would be the final practice test when it came to their physical to show what they've learned over the past couple of years. In another point, Naruto would have been upset about this, knowing that he would fail. But now, things are different, very different for him right now. What he did notice though was a special chakra close by Sasuke, the connection between his brain and eyes. But even after scanning, Naruto did not get the Sharingan. The DNA sequence seemed to very bonded to his own, but he did not gain the Sharingan. As he learned about Sasuke's heritage, what made the Uchiha so special. But he did not awaken the Sharingan. It was placed within his own DNA genes. This was something that was not done by Mito Uzumaki. The seal itself was never fully completed to that extreme, due to the lack of, passable subjects for her to step to the next part. However, the seal was replicating and evolving, so he was sure that soon enough the breakthrough would be made. What he did start to notice though, the jutsus that was now at his disposal were the ones that he was practicing earlier within the forest. The others were like downloading a file. However, manifesting them by using them would result in them coming out naturally and becoming more instinctively to his own body. Because even after scanning the Hokage, he had the instinct to combine all of the elemental styles, despite having trained them just yet. It was truly intriguing. It was like his mind was planning for the future, but due to the lack of control at the moment, the lack of element controls, they were not just here yet, but his mind was planning and preparing for the future. What he did notice though, from scanning more than up to 6 people a day, the other genes were locked into his own DNA. However, when he truly focused on one, others seemed to be pushed back. However, it only took 1 week and Naruto noticed that this level was evolving. Due to Mito not fully incorporating the seal as she should because of the failures, the seal was not perfect, but he could feel it constantly evolving inside of him, becoming better, absorbing and processing forward. It was getting better, stronger in every single way. It seems the more conflict, the more exposure the system experienced, the more it started to handle more complexity and balance new power. It was getting stronger, evolving constantly, even as he speak. But one thing was truly amazing though. It was the chakra control. From scanning the Hokage, Naruto's chakra control was almost perfect. Despite the large amount of chakra that he possessed, he was curious what would it be like to assimilate a Kekigenkai user. He's been reading a lot lately. Sasuke possessed special dojutsu, well, not as yet, but he wanted something offensive. But there is nothing like that really within Konoha. The Hyugas, they possess Byakuguns. Wait, something came to mind. It was Shikamaru Nara. As Naruto gazed over towards him, he started to scan Shikamaru. As Naruto started to see the pieces, he started to see the yin and yang release binding together for a shadow release. Naruto was intrigued. However, as the moment he finished, his name was called to face off against Sasuke within the ring. Everyone believed that this would go as it normally did, with Sasuke winning without a doubt. However, as Naruto stepped up, Sasuke looked forward, rather bored. "Let's get this over with," he said. He decided to come at Naruto. Naruto stood there, everyone believing that he accepted his fate, that he knew that he was going to lose. However, as Sasuke feigned a right and went for the left, Naruto kicked his feet away and flipped him, slamming him into the ground and pinning his arm behind him. He held Sasuke there, keeping him pinned to the ground, face into the dirt. The absolute shock that ricocheted through everyone could be heard outwards as they gasped. Even the teachers were taken back. They couldn't understand. Sasuke blinked, believing that this was some kind of illusion, believing that he was dreaming and he was just having a bad day. It had to be, right? Yes, it had to be, he told himself. However, when nothing changed, Sasuke realized that the match was over, as Iruka called it. Sasuke was fuming for the rest of the day, others trying to understand. All Naruto said was, "I've been training a bit more." As everyone started to take this in with his change in behavior. What Naruto did not expect though was Sasuke to come to him personally, alone, after school. What the hell was that, Sasuke said. It was the first time he was truly surprised in a long time. He demanded to know how did Naruto do that. He wanted to know everything. How could he best him? The Uchiha pride and jealousy would not stand for that. He could not be bested by someone like him. However, Naruto's statement was brief. "I've evolved," he said, and that was all. From that day, Naruto noticed that the lack of, strength and power behind the young Nara proved to be problematic. Another weakness of the seal. The potential was supposed to be created that it maximized the power of the wielder. It doesn't matter who was using their Kekigenkai or ability, the power was supposed to be maximized, but it needed to evolve. Naruto could feel that it was changing, but due to Shikamaru's inexperience, his lack of control when it came to the yin and yang, the potential to make up his shadow release, blending, it was proven to be, not efficient enough, not giving Naruto what he desired. Another problem with the seal that Mito did not bother to completely fix due to her cutting off that work. However, the seal being self-replicated, as it was becoming sentient within Naruto's body, it was growing constantly. When it came to the academy tests, it was easier than ever before. Iruka congratulated Naruto given the fact that Naruto had tried twice before to graduate early and fail, but now he got his head banned. Mizuki did not seem pleased by that. However, Naruto did not pay him any mind, as he wasn't important right now. Naruto ventured to the woods, spending that night training, trying to master everything at his disposal. trying to see if he could push Shikamaru bloodline beyond its limits. The Hokage had several conversations with him about not going around copying the, abilities and bloodlines of everyone within the village, as this was not something that would be looked on favorable to the others. However, Naruto wasn't listening, as he wanted to see just how far he could push this, just how far he could go. However, after a while his moment was interrupted. He then saw Mizuki as he hid the forbidden scroll. Having seen it on several occasions, Naruto immediately knew that something was wrong. Naruto landed down as Mizuki ran away. He took the scroll from the shack, lifting up the plyboard inside. But Naruto had no desire for anything inside. But this begs the question, Mizuki stole this. He remembered what the Hokage said about this. Valuable information to the village, and if it got in the wrong hands, it seemed Mizuki was a traitor. Naruto ducked as the Fuma Shuriken break through the other window. Mizuki had came back, seeing him standing there, as he preferred to end this rather than wasting time, as he couldn't afford anyone to find out. Naruto stepped out, straight for the kill, he said, rather calm despite the situation. I suppose he didn't want anyone finding out, or creating an excuse that you know that I would not buy. You shouldn't have come here, Mizuki said. And just like that, everything that you've done, all of your life works end here. He draw for another. Mizuki spent his entire life, as he mostly performed well when it came to weapons, as he was a bit of an expert in that area, something that he trained for and specialized in. As Naruto decided to see just how far can he push his core, that is when he was able to replicate it. It came out looking exactly like the one Mizuki was holding, as Naruto held two massive Fuma Shuriken. They came together like atoms to atoms, molting and twisting together. Naruto was amazed. He launched them. They split Mizuki Fuma Shuriken like it was nothing, forcing him to flip into the sky. Naruto formed more and started to launch them. Mizuki jumped to the trees as he took above. He decided to face Naruto hand to hand, having no idea how he just did that. I'm a Chunin. You're nothing but a... Mizuki was confused as Naruto evaded without even looking. Naruto spun and kicked his feet away. He didn't allow him to drop though. The uppercut that Naruto gave him shattered almost every single teeth in his mouth. Naruto was amazed by his own strength. Mizuki staggered as Naruto leaped from one tree to another. He arched like the fox. He tied in with flexibility, as this originated from Kiba. Naruto had mimicked his fighting style. However, just like the fox, he moved with the ferocity of a beast. Naruto came down and crushed into Mizuki's spine. His scream ripped through the forest. The single blow caused him unable to move on the ground as he twitched, pain coursing through him. He spat up blood as Naruto stood over him. I release enough force to fracture your spine. Every single move from now on will cause you unbearable pain, Naruto said. It seemed my muscle structure is growing, constantly, Naruto said, as he looked at his own hands. He was impressed by himself, while Mizuki screeched in pain. As the envoys arrived, Naruto's eyes started to glow, scanning each and every one of them, saving their data within his system. He told the Hokage what happened, what he came across. As Mizuki was taken in, brought to the infirmary first, Hiruzen saw the detail of what happened, as Naruto really did a number on his spine. Naruto's physical prowess were also growing as well, intensively. As the days went by, Team 7, that was a team that he was going to be placed on. But that did not interest Naruto at the moment. What he was interested about was Kurina UI, her specialty within. The study of Genjutsu proved to be greatly beneficial for Naruto. Her study with the aspect of chakra when it came to yin and yang. Her body overflows with the energy. Due to her specialty, Naruto was intrigued. She noticed that he was looking at her oddly, but the next moment he looked away. It wasn't just her though, Asuma Saratobi. As they all came inside, he gazed at each and every one of them, just for a moment, intrigued by all that he see, learning how to evolve beyond what he is. The more he grew, the more he evolved. The Ninetales was able to view all of this. Somehow their body had synced together in a synthetic way, due to the seal being broken and the Ninetales still being inside of him. It was a specialty of this new seal, bonding them in a way like they've never been bonded before. However, the Ninetales started to see it, a bit of an obsession about his own growth. But the beast did not say anything though. He simply watched and observed, trying to see just how complex and truly powerful this seal truly was, if you could even call it that anymore. A self-replicating, a self-advanced seal. Mito Uzumaki had no true idea what she was creating, as it was going to go far beyond what she could have ever imagined, and it was being done so. Perhaps it was due to him being part Uzumaki as well. The Ninetales did not know. It wasn't just only his chakra that stabilized him. The Ninetales had saw 2 flashes of chakra within the moment that the seal broke. But that didn't matter anymore now. As Team 7 was gathered, Sasuke had not let it go, still fuming over his loss. As staying on his reputation, he was supposed to be the best boy in the academy. As the loss, whilst most seemed to not even think about that, Sasuke could not get over it. Kakashi Hatake learned after everything that Hiruzen had seen so far is constant talk with Naruto, trying to keep up to date. However, Naruto already got what he wanted. The lightning element from the copy ninja burned brightly inside of him, or should he say cackle. Kakashi Hatake stood on the field, having given them the tests, what they needed to do. The bells were resting on his waist. The only person that had yet to move was Naruto. The copy ninja stood there. "I did say begin," he said, watching Naruto very carefully. "Yes, I heard you," said Naruto. Kakashi turned and raised his hand, shocked, as Naruto's leg slammed against it. The copy ninja ducked and twisted away. But Naruto was upon him again. His small stature, as he kept himself in the air. The copy ninja flipped away as he landed. He turned, but Naruto was no longer there. Looking up, he jumped as a massive gust ripped through the entire clearing. Sakura and Sasuke had to hunker down. The copy ninja took to the trees. As he stood there in shock, the force behind that technique, it had to be high A rank Genjutsu. Not to say that he doubted the Hokage, not in the slightest, but seeing it with his own eyes. Kakashi blinked as he saw them. His one eye seen them. He had no choice but to raise the other. It came from all around. Shurikens, kunais. He must be using clones. He drew for one of his own and started to deflect. One tear across his shoulder. That is when he noticed a pattern. They were bouncing off of one another, ricocheting. Kakashi went higher and higher, As he jumped, the tree was reduced to stump, torn apart by the ricochet kunais. The copy ninja gazed over the forest as he saw the trajectory. He launched one of his own. It stopped over there. Another. 5 of them, he thought to himself. He jumped down, only for hands to wrap around him. He was caught off guard. The transformation jutsu blended in so perfectly, but he did not feel the chakra trace. Wait, it's all over. Kakashi elbowed him, trying to get free. He poofed into smoke. The copy ninja was ready to move until bam! He was kicked in the back. He flipped several times. The moment he landed, the ground gave way and exploded upwards. At the last moment he switched, substituted, reappearing, his back grazed. It was the earth style, exploding pit. Kakashi stood there looking around, looking for any movement, as he couldn't believe that he was forced to reveal this so soon. Then again, this child was no ordinary child now, was he? Kakashi then saw something strange. Kunais were around him. He looked down. His eyes went wide as he saw Naruto a few feet away. Electricity surrounding his hand as he slammed it on the kunai on the ground. It was a trap. The copy ninja jumped away, but the electric field zapped him, ripping through the metal plate on the back of his hand, tearing through. As his right hand, the sleeve burned, he jumped away, gripping onto it. He landed. He had to get out of the trees. The clones were being used to his advantage, spamming traps all over the place. Earth style, he heard. Mud Dragon! Due to the amount of chakra that he possessed, the quantity was large. 10 of them, each of them the size of a massive tree. They spat mud bullets. Kakashi had to book it. He ran until the ground in front of him turned into a pit. Applying chakra simply make it absorb even more. Naruto dashed towards him. The copy ninja immediately went through hand sign of his own. There was a flash and a discharge. Naruto was knocked away as he crashed on the ground. Sasuke stood there, confused, not quite understanding. What just happened? What the hell is going on? Did Naruto do that? Sakura questioned. Kakashi was back on his feet, wounded by a genin. However, when he heard the jingle, he looked up in shock. Time skip. When Kakashi came to the office, Hiruzen never expected to see him in this state. Kakashi, what happened? Hiruzen questioned. It seems he's a lot more than we talked about, Kakashi said. If only they knew that was just the beginning. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.